There is one type of protagonists that I don't think that I'll ever be able to create at a satisfactory level for various reasons. And honestly, I don't think I've ever even encountered such a protagonist in another story if that character was the main focus of that story. And that is a protagonist coming from a different race, especially one that lives a very long life. It's just that to satisfy what I would expect from a character like that seems to be almost impossible to me as an author and as a reader as well. Obviously, I have encountered a few of them that came close or at least satisfied some of the conditions, but usually in some aspect of their characterization, they end up, well, being awfully lot like us, like any other human character with the same goals, objectives, similar approach towards certain situations, ways of dealing with adversities, and on the other hand, similar ways of displaying joy or happiness. I feel that character like that should have values, objectives, beliefs, reasoning completely and thoroughly incomprehensible to me as a human. Because otherwise, what's the point of creating this character setting, making these thousands of years old beings that just end up operating on the exact same principles, values as us normal humans? So, this is the first part, me admitting that most probably I will never be able to create a character that would fit this setting and yet it would also satisfy all my goals or ideas that I would have for this protagonist of mine. And then the second part, that I would like to at least challenge myself to create a side character in a story, a setting for a race that would feel truly alien. I have mentioned Mass Effect and their portrayal of sci fi races. In my eyes, races that, in some aspects, truly are different from humanity. So the concept is there. It's just that the characters that are portrayed in that great saga, that I'm supposed to believe they are hundreds of or even thousands of years old, just have the same drives as your normal 25-year-old human would, which I feel is highly improbable because, in case of even just looking at the values of a small child compared to someone who's 80 plus years old, it's as if they were living in completely different realities, and then multiply that difference by 10 or even more and add to that the fact that it's supposed to be a completely different race with a completely different evolution, completely different journey that they have traveled, completely different experiences that their entire species encountered and lived through. I should never be able to just easily comprehend and relate to whatever drives these beings simply based on the amount of things experienced and learned. This is also something that closely relates to what I've talked about previously, that I would like to bring as few things as possible from our real world into my stories. And thus these comparisons using young kids and seniors might seem hypocritical, but unfortunately I have nothing better, so I'll just have to take this one, I guess. But the TLDR would be that I would like to attempt to create a side character representing a race of some long lived beings that would feel truly alien, whose motives and reasonings I would just not be able to properly comprehend as the reader, which will most probably go even worse than I'm making it sound right now, but we will see. And well, that's for the intro. And now for more rapid arrows. The new Herald just came, and all the boys are scrambling to get their copy. And it seems that there is a special offer featured in the newest issue, offering a new gramophone record for 10 broken ones. So the Rapid Arrows decide to participate as well and try to collect those 10 broken records wherever they can. So after scrambling to ransack any and all sources of records anywhere in their vicinity, Speedy is then tasked with trading the old ones for a new one. Meanwhile, the rest of the club members will borrow a gramophone for the club room. Unfortunately, not all boys are like Mirek Dushin, and when he is carrying those 10 records stacked on top of each other, a trio of boys decides to give the poor Speedy a slight scare and chase him around, which ends up in him falling nose first into what he was carrying, which results in him visiting the store where the promotion was happening with a cloth full of completely shattered records. Fortunately for him, the event was based on weight, so he was still able to receive the new gramophone record, which the boys end up listening to, featuring a famous composer from my country, Bedřich Smetana, and his song Proč bychom se netěšili, or in English, Let Us Rejoice. Next one is the holiday, the Three Kings. They are going to go around in costumes, sing songs, and basically bring happiness during this holiday. They handmade their own costumes, and everything seemed ready to maybe even earn some small pocket change. Just Redcap had this small reminiscence regarding their Saint Nicholas adventure. First, they are chased out by a neighbor who was trying to sleep. Meanwhile, they interrupted him by their singing. So their next stop is a sweet shop where things seem to go better, at least at first. The owner being very hospitable to the boys dressed up as the Three Kings, telling them to feel right at home, even offering some cakes and other sweets, earning them jealous stares from the outside, where the rest of the club members, the two that, well, wouldn't fit into Three Kings, had to stay and watch. Unfortunately, the ending wasn't exactly as the boys would expect, with the owner demanding rather harshly a proper payment for everything they ate. So instead of helping the club budget by caroling, they made a rather severe dent into it. And when questioned what's going to happen to them during Candlemas or Hromnice, from the word Hrom, thunder in English, Speedy says that a thunder will probably strike them, as their luck was quite terrible so far with the holidays throughout the year. Next one, the Rapid Arrows are going sledding, and their goal for this day is to find a new sledding hill, a new route that everyone could enjoy, using their patented double sled assembled by none other than Speedy himself, guaranteed that it's not going to disassemble at the worst possible moment. Mirek issues one last warning, telling them that he's not going to force anyone to participate. Speedy jumps right on that, saying that there are no cowards amongst them, only real men, and that no one is scared of a small nosedive, even if it happened. Well, the new hill is rather steep, and the sled goes a bit faster than anyone's comfortable with, and when even Mirek loses control, the double sled is launched from a cliff, the Speedy certified assembly disassembles, and it means two men overboard, landing safely in a huge pile of snow, with the rest of the club continuing uncontrollably straight down the hill, accompanied by a rather concerning sound that the sled made when they landed. After a bit of acrobacy on top of a sled to avoid an obstacle, a giant pile of manure finally stops their adventure for good, allowing for a safe yet rather smelly finale to their attempts at finding a new sledging track. Well, this is where I'm going to stop for today. I did a long intro as always, covered a few adventures, and I'm going to continue that in the next one.